Hello, everyone. This will be another. The last one was supposed to be short, but it ended up being 11 minutes. Um, so, the title of this video recording is Sandman. Before TNA, in TNA, and after TNA. The Sandman, for me, is one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time. Only because I've seen some of the interviews, are, in my opinion, based upon the like 10 or so interviews that I've seen of him, like when he's out of character and he's just like hanging out. Um, there's like two of them that are like half an hour long, and then there's another handful or so that are like 10 minutes long. And based upon that, I reckon he'd be a pretty cool person to hang out with, especially in my drinking party days. I reckon it would have been cool. But the Sandman. Gimmick of the Sandman, he's a 5-time ECW heavyweight champion. He also performed in the WCW and the WWE, and then he went to TNA. His own personal opinion, because I watched an interview of his snippet of an interview, of his opinion of TNA, and he said that it was cool because he mentioned some of the wrestlers' names. He made Father James Mitchell, the guy who plays Father James Mitchell. He said it was cool because he got to hang out with him a lot. And then a couple of the other guys. But he said that TNA itself, just the booking and the show and all that type of thing, he said, in his opinion, it sucked. But he didn't say in his opinion, he just said it sucked. The TNA booking and all that sucked. So he just liked catching up with some of the guys and stuff. 5-time ECW champion, right? So as I said before, like there's like heaps. There's probably about, I don't know how many, but there's more than 20 organizations wrestling in America. At least, there might be even way more, that we're unaware of. And just because you actually had brief mentions, I haven't seen the matches of any of these other ones, but there was 3 that were had enough viewership and had enough money going for them and ticket selling that they had TV shows, and that's the WWE, then known as WWF, WCW, and ECW. So the fact that ECW was the least popular show, it was out of all the wrestling organizations that there was, only 3 of them had a show. So it was still top 3 shows, and this guy's a 5-time ECW champion. His gimmick was the gimmick of a family man, but he's caring and he's loving towards his family and his children, his wife. But he also, obviously, he's a wrestler, so he likes to fight. He likes to fight in the ring, like in the ring. But he also has the gimmick of a alcoholic. Because like before you think, oh yeah, party and stuff, because he used to take like a 6-pack to the ring, and then he'll like drink like 3 of them on the way down. This is his gimmick, and the other two or three cans, he was like drinking it and spitting it out, so it was like spraying up into the crowd and stuff. And so but the other 3 was just being drunk. So yeah, but it was the storylines and him overcoming a lot of other stuff, even though his character never really overcame alcohol. His character overcame all these other things. I had talked about Raven was a 2-time ECW champion, and I was happy when I found out about that. Not only because I appreciate the character of Raven because it's well represented, but he brainwashed the character Raven brainwashed on TV the character's Sandman's wife to leave him, and then the Sun was copying Raven and all this type of thing. Long story short, and this time period, Raven's character was real dark, and just there's no justifying any of that. Um, and yes, his character won the title twice there, but in the end, the Sandman won the rivalry against Raven, in my opinion. I think Sandman got his wife back. I'm pretty sure. Only because it's been such a long time since I've seen it, it's very hard to find it because it's like a highlight of the third most popular show that happened over 20 years ago now. Just over 20 years ago, that storyline. So, yeah, and he was always one to stick up for if people were getting jumped or people trying to make a name, the characters trying to make names for themselves and saying they've come from this other organization, and they would do some things to the ECW guys. So even though Sandman was a drunk and he had his demons, when he saw any of that happen to any of his colleagues, unless it was someone like Raven or someone that had screwed him over and done bad things to him and his family, if that wasn't the case and it was a colleague that was being attacked, Sandman would be the alcoholic he is. He'll come out with some cans and drink them, and then he'll take a Singapore cane and do what he can. And sometimes he succeeds, sometimes he didn't, because sometimes he'd missed them and all things like that. But he'd always come to the aid of his own colleagues. So this is again, I think it's a good thing that he had like his weaknesses, but he also had all his strengths. The character Sandman, I know that Metallica came up with that song, but whenever I hear the song Enter Sandman from Metallica, I automatically think of the Sandman, the wrestler. That's how much of an influence that character had on that song for me. Obviously, I wasn't around when Metallica was big, like, making hits. Not yet. I'm not that old. So, yeah, and Sandman ended up in the TNA, but he just says a whole lot of haywire booking. And as I watch some of his matches that they've put up from the early 2000s, from the time period where you can see full matches, it does look like he's just been put in matches where he's just supposed to, and the commentator's always talking about it, but the Sandman wasn't actually crazy. The character Sandman wasn't crazy. I mean, he wouldn't shy away from anybody, but he wasn't like a crazy nutball who didn't have reasons behind doing what he did. In TNA, his character was exactly the same, but he was portrayed, they tried to portray him as the crazy man because he drank beers on the way to the ring and he couldn't carry a Singapore cane. There was no real storylines behind his stuff. It was just, oh, he's crazy. He's hardcore. He brings weapons. Well, he used to bring a weapon because remember when Raven had his flock, so he had a group of guys and he was doing all these things to Sandman's family. So when Sandman was trying to stand up for himself, he would arm himself with a weapon just in case someone came by or something. One of the flock members, who always inevitably left Raven because they realised that he was just a manipulative person who wanted other people to do his bidding. And so he, before then, I don't really think he was using it, Singapore cane. I do see him once when he comes to the ring with it. Before he was supposedly, before his wife supposedly was on screen with them. But yeah, I think that the storylines of the Sandman in the ECW is amazing. They even had some like family man type things, and he wasn't that beer drinking alcoholic in WCW's. His character wasn't like that. But yeah, I think in the TNA and the WWE, they just they took all that extreme stuff, but they added no storyline to it. And every time they came to the ring, and he goes, "Here comes the crazy bear swilling, cane swinging, hardcore maniac, the Sandman." And I do think that they did not do him favors, because his character was um, a drinker. His character did use weapons when need be, but there was always reasons behind doing what he was doing. It wasn't just willy nilly. But when they put him into the WWE and the TNA, it was just willy nilly. So, in a way, he was actually a hero. But he was a hero that wasn't perfect. He was a hero. He was a hero that was never shy to stand up for his colleagues, never shy to stand up for his mates. A hero that didn't like bullies. He was and a hero who was always fighting for his family, but he was an alcoholic. And prone to some impulse decisions sometimes. So yeah, this is my video, my opinion of the character Sandman. I think they could have done a much better job with him in TNA, WWE. But every time they, you got to remember, like, if there's like 30,000 people, right? There's like 10,000 that don't care about the specific character that they're portraying. They're there for other characters, and then another 10,000 who do care, but they'll say, "Oh, you made the wrong moves," And then there'll be another 10,000 who do care about the character, and they'll be like, "No, they made the right moves." So it's just my own personal opinion. For everything wrong, everything that I don't prefer as myself. They do just as much good. So I think us fans need to get off the back of these, of the WWE and these other agencies, because they're trying to do everything to bring great product. And I think that you guys tend to bring out all the bad, but you tend to, obviously, you ignore the stuff you don't care about, which is like 1/3 of it. And then there's another third of it where everything is awesome and it is what you want, and the other third it's not. But no matter what they do, it's always going to be like that with all the fans. Yeah, it's always going to be all these different people's opinions. So there's no way that they can. Plus, it's going to be boring, Like if I had, imagine if I was watching this TV program and I thought, gee, I hope they do these 20 things, and they do all 20 of them, But usually with WWE, it's like, I hope they do these 20 things, and they probably do about 10 of them, and the other 10 are different. But what do you expect? So I think us fans need to just give them a break and just realise, just enjoy the show. We got more things going for our lives, and it's pretty sad to see if you're going to spend all your time doing that because you've got nothing better to do with your time. And instead of looking at these entertainers saying thank you for memories and good entertainment, and why don't you start training as a wrestler too yourself, or a valet or whatever, like I am. Wrestler. But I started at age 31, so I'm just doing it for fun. Weekend warrior. Alright. Well, bless all people involved in the wrestling industry, including WWE and TNA, and anyone else. May you all be blessed in what you do and make a good living of doing what you enjoy. This is D-Man Victorious signing out. Before I do, don't forget to smash that subscribe button with a Singapore cane, and maybe hit the like button with a white Russian leg sweep. And don't forget to live victoriously.